In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn thumbnails into looking something like this. Why? Because besides making videos, if you want to post your content online, thumbnails are one of the most important things to get views and engagement in your audience. Because why? That's the first thing that they're going to see, and it's going to decide whether or not they're going to watch your video. And here's a secret of mine. All of my thumbnails have been made for free on two simple programs, GIMP, G-I-M-P, and you know it, Microsoft Paint. So if you have these two programs which are completely free, I'm going to show you how I make my YouTube thumbnails. So first, you would want to export a screenshot from your video. And when you export a video from Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or whatever, the image resolution itself is usually 1920 by 1080. So what you want to do is resize that exported frame to 1280 by 720, because those are the more recommended size dimensions for YouTube thumbnails. Now that you got your 1280 by 720 thumbnail, what you want to do next is you want to open GIMP. GIMP is essentially your free Photoshop, or if you have Photoshop, you can use this same tactic as well. And what you want to do is just pull your image into there. Next, you want to grab that lasso tool or the mask tool. In Photoshop, you can just use the magic wand and click on the image that you want to mask. But if you're using a free software like GIMP, what you want to do is click the lasso tool and you want to manually mask out your subject or whatever it is that you want to be in focus and everything else that you don't want to use. So here I am just going through and pretty much selecting me. So what you want to do is you want to select around your subject. In this case, all I'm essentially doing is just pretty much selecting the background that I want to be colored. So next I would just hit the tool option, go down to colorize, and you can mess around with the hue and saturation. So next, what I did for this specific thumbnail is then I again masked me, which I should have done in the first place, and I already recorded this video. But what you want to do is you want to mask your object or subject, whatever it is in the thumbnail that you want to pop out. And here you can see me use the lasso tool again and just pretty much just select me. Next, you want to copy and paste that onto a new layer. As you can see here now, there's a duplicate layer of me on top of the colored background image. And you see a lot of thumbnails where they have the white outline, and this is how I do it. So all you need to do is you pretty much just copy the layer that you masked out, and you go to edit and you grow the image by 5, and then you hit the first layer and then use the paintbrush tool. Now if you paint in the layer behind it, it essentially gives that white outline around the subject. Next, what you want to do is you want to make your subject pop. So I fix my levels a bit on myself, and then I adjust the saturation so it stands out. And as you can see here, this looks a lot better than before. As you can see here, this is before and this is after. As for my text, this is where my secret weapon comes into play, Microsoft Paint. So what I do is I pretty much put the text up here, open the text tool, put in the text, and you're like, is that it? But wait. Next, I grab the square tool and I pretty much make an outline and make sure it's filled in, not just an outline, and white. And that's how I get my white bars on all my thumbnails, believe it or not. And also do the second thing, the same thing below. Sometimes I do a black box and sometimes I do a white box. Next, you want to grab your text tool and all you do is type in your text that you want. And if you're doing YouTube videos, you usually want to have the main subject line or whatever it is you're talking about in those text boxes that you just made. And that is my secret on how I make my custom YouTube thumbnails for completely free using GIMP and Microsoft Paint. And no, I am not sponsored. And it's a lot of trial and error and testing out different things. You can get pretty creative with these, believe it or not. And that's how I made all my thumbnails. And you're watching Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something.